Hey everybody, it's me Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 Hertz, the universal frequency. Strengthen up your aura just like Goku. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart coherence as well. Get a plant-based diet going for yourself today and nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level and get with alkalinity. Then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically. Set attention to your mind and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to Great Days. Now today I got a very enlightening video all about the revolution, and I got some revolutionary information as well to talk about, so I can actually bring you into a higher state of awareness for the collective rise in consciousness. So today's video is You Are at Risk. So, if you have not seen my video on Mars opposing Pluto, the astrological event, check it out in the top right corner. First of all, this is actually the astrological event that is setting the stage for everything that is unfolding as of late June. Okay, so the corresponding manifestation that took place, or the situation that took place with the 2019 astrological event of Mars opposing Pluto, the exact same astrological event that took place on the period of early June, actually is what manifested Epstein committing that suicide in his prison cell. Okay, this was literally last year in 2019, or 2 years ago. Okay, and that manifested literally from the Mars opposing Pluto energies. Okay, so keep that in mind, because now with this Mars opposing Pluto, the exact same astrological event taking place 2 years later in 2021 actually manifested the exact same situation, which, if you have not heard, John McAfee, a American computer programmer, which founded the John McAfee antivirus, actually committed suicide in his prison cell in Barcelona, okay, which is in Spain. So John McAfee, and it's very odd as well that it is the exact same situation that manifested. Both Epstein and John McAfee both committed suicide within their prison cells, according to the same astrological event, which was Mars opposing Pluto. And in my video, I talked about Mars opposing Pluto having the collective come into realization of what the inorganic beings or the shadow government or the elites are actually doing to the earth, with the Scopex experimentation, okay? And I'm going to get more into that and how the death of John McAfee actually connects to the Scopex experimentation as well, and the inorganic beings agenda. So if you do not know, like I said, John McAfee on June 23rd, 2021 actually was pronounced dead within his prison cell in Barcelona, which is a Spanish city, okay? So he was actually imprisoned 8 months ago. So he was in prison for 8 months due to not filing his taxes, okay? So he didn't file his taxes, John McAfee, and they put him in prison in Spain for 8 months, and on June 23rd, he was pronounced dead from suicide, okay? Just like Epstein, and it corresponds to the same astrological event of Mars opposing Pluto as well. So this is no coincidence at all, okay? This is no coincidence at all, and it is no conspiracy either. This is all the inorganic beings trying to keep the globe under control and in a lack of freedom, okay? They literally killed off, or they had him become more susceptible to suicidal states in his prison cell, John McAfee, due to the fact that in the prison systems, the food is actually completely drugged. If you do not know, the food is completely drugged. The water is even more poisoned, okay? The water in our tap is already poisoned, but the prison system, water system, is actually even more poisoned. So it's not too hard to understand that if they have these people literally becoming drugged up and poisoned from the water and food, that they are going to become more susceptible to suicidal states. Anyway, John McAfee, like I said, died on June 23rd, and he was very, very, very technologically advanced. He was the founder of the antivirus, the John McAfee antivirus, or the McAfee antivirus, which actually kept a lot of virus away from our computers and our devices. Okay, so basically, why did they allow him to die, or why was he killed, or why did he commit suicide? Well, like I said, he was actually very technologically advanced, and he was awakened to what was going on in the United States nowadays, and he was even running for presidential position in the last two presidential runs, okay? The last two presidential runs, he was actually running to fill in the position of the president for the Libertarian Party, and this was in 2016 and 2020, but he didn't win, okay? Obviously, because the presidential elections are all just a stage, okay? They always choose who is going to win. And John McAfee, if he was elected president, he would have completely woke everybody up in a liberated sense to a more technological understanding of the world, which is how they are actually controlling the globe nowadays, through technology, okay? The government is actually controlling everyone they can with technology nowadays, and government actually translates to governmental. If you do not know, they control your mind, they govern your mental, they govern your mind, and nowadays they do this with technology remotely, okay? I am using technology right now, and due to the fact that I am so dependent upon technology, or due to the fact that I think that that I am so dependent upon technology makes it so that they can just use that same technology that they put out to us to govern our mind. Okay, so John McAfee, like I said, supposedly committed suicide in his prison cell, okay? June 23rd. Now, John McAfee said that if anything ever happened to him, if he ever committed suicide, to know that it was not actually a suicide. Okay, so he said this. He knew that he was being targeted by the inorganics or the elites or the shadow government. Okay, and he knew that if he was ever having to commit suicide, that he would make known that it was not truly a suicide, but that he was targeted. Okay, and like I said, he told people this before he died in his prison cell. He said that if he committed suicide, just know that it was not suicide. And he even got a tattoo saying whacked, okay? And he said that that tattoo basically symbolized that he was killed, not that he actually committed suicide. Okay, so he also further stated that if he ever died, he would release a dead man switch, and people around the earth or on the globe would start to wake up, and everything would start to be exposed, and everything would be brought into light. Okay, and that is exactly what happened. And further, people are actually starting to wake up all over the globe. Okay, everybody is starting to wake up all over the globe now. Everything is being exposed now. Okay, he said he would release a dead man switch if anything ever happened to him. And now that he died, the Secretary of Health in the UK, Matt Hancock, was actually there was a leaked video released of Matt Hancock, the Secretary of Health in the UK, basically cheating on his wife with his aide. And now there is a lot more that is going to be exposed, and that is literally just John McAfee and his dead man switch coming back into play or into flux. Okay, so you see how all of this is just a literal it's like a going on under the surface. They won't ever tell you this in the media, and people won't even come into understanding of what is going on, but it is literally a battle for our freedom. And John McAfee is representing or symbolizing a person who knew more of what's to come, okay? And he was actually killed off because he wanted to bring us to a state of freedom. John McAfee also stated that there is a unnatural inclusion nowadays upon us, and that there's a lack of freedom. Social media, he says, actually spies on you, and it is actually controlling you as well. So they're using social media sites to actually control you. They spy on you through the camera nowadays, and I'm pointing to the camera on my laptop, okay, because they use your cameras to spy on you at all times, and then they further completely govern your mind to have you in a state of control, and then they control your body like puppet, or like puppeteers to puppets. Okay, so Instagram actually put in some conditions and terms at the beginning of the year of 2021 or somewhere around there, stating that they can actually use the camera to always watch you now. Okay, so go read the terms and conditions on Instagram if you want more proof. Okay, and if Instagram is from Facebook, then Facebook has been doing that for literally years. If Instagram is doing that now with their own permission, okay, literally with their own permission, they don't need to ask the people who they're spying on for permission. They have their own permission to spy on you at all times, okay? And that is literally the inclusion or the lack of freedom that we are being susceptible to nowadays. We really are at risk, and we need to wake up. We are at risk risk of losing our freedom, and we are at risk of falling into losing our soul as well. The inorganic ones, the elites, the shadow government want to take your soul. They want to completely slaughter you. They want to completely control your entire life. Okay, and this is how we are at risk nowadays. So what we need to do is come into the understanding that everything in the matrix, everything in society is completely inversed. It is completely it is completely backwards. Okay, and we are at risk of losing our soul if we don't fight for our freedom, if we don't come into revolutionizing ourselves to a state of freedom and peace and love and prosperity and abundance. Then we will slowly be slaughtered and we will slowly lose our soul as well. Okay, and that is not a joke, that is the complete truth. Okay, you see people everywhere in the globe nowadays masked up, completely breathless and depressed and on the verge of literal death. Okay, that is not something that you need to be susceptible to. Okay, you see a lot of lockdown, you see a lot of control. These are controlling events that we cannot let occur. We need to take back our freedom. Okay, now how does John McAfee's death correspond to the Scopex experimentation? Well, if you do not know, the Scopex experimentation is actually Bill Gates and Harvard, which are a area of the elites or the shadow government, actually putting into place sun dimming technology, meaning Scopex is wanting to dim out the sun via technological experimentation. Okay, calcium carbonate they want to spray into the air, the atmosphere, and then they want to further put in some technological instruments that will further allow for the controlling of the sun onto the earth. Okay, and the elites will then have complete control over the sun's fluctuation of light. And if they do that, which they already are, they put that experimentation into place early June. If they do that, then they completely have control over the light fluctuation, which is a main necessity of our life. And if they have a complete control over the main necessity of our life, they have complete control over us as well. And John McAfee was technologically advanced. Like I said, he was a person who actually gave us a lot of the technology that we have nowadays. So he knew a lot of what is to come technologically. Okay, they killed him, or he committed suicide because he knew a lot of what is to come, and he was actually even running for president every election. Okay, and they could not have this due to the fact that he knew a lot. And if he came into a presidential position, or if he kept talking about what is going to happen, it would have detrimented the elite's plan to enslave humanity. Okay, which is what they want to do. They want to enslave all of humanity. And you see this with the Scopex experimentation. It is not natural that they are trying to dim out the sun when Mother Nature is self-preserving. She takes care of herself. This tree right here in the back of me grew entirely on its own. Okay, it did not need too much of a human hand to cultivate its maturity. In the same way, the earth takes care of herself. She doesn't need the elites to actually take responsibility for dimming out the sun. Okay, they don't need to do that. But with Elon Musk setting up the Skynet, which is a global technological grid that will span all over the globe, and with Bill Gates actually putting in technology further to dim out the sun, they want to make the earth into a prison planet, or a Death Star like celestial, where it will be completely in device, or it will be completely device in nature. They want to turn it into a giant cell phone, basically, and people will then become cyborgs as well. And what John McAfee's antivirus would have been evolved to when most of the Earth inhabitants are turned into cyborgs, the antivirus would actually be used as a way of protecting us from viruses. Basically, it's hard to explain, but basically John McAfee created an antivirus, right, that was used for protecting us from viruses on our devices. Now, if they turn us into those devices, if they turn us into cyborgs, if they put into place or integrate a technological augmentation where we project the internet out holographically without the need for a phone or a computer, then there is going to be viruses that we are susceptible to within that augmentation or that holographic reality. Okay, and John McAfee and his antivirus could have protected us from those viruses that come from the elites that are actually equalized or equal to illnesses, because at that point we would be cyborgs and we would be actually augmentatively projecting the internet outwards, and further then those viruses that the elites put out onto us could have been protected by John McAfee's antivirus. But now that he has committed suicide, there is one less antivirus to deal with, which would actually heal us or protect us from those viruses that would affect us augmentatively when we are more cybernetic in nature. Okay, like I said, they want to turn us into cyborgs, and they want to completely turn the globe into a prison planet, and that is part of the elite's agenda. Okay, so like I said, we are greatly at risk. John McAfee has died, okay, and he has even stated that it was not a suicide before he died, because he knew that he was targeted and he knew that he was going to die. Okay, so basically we are all at risk if we don't stand up for our freedom, if we don't come into revolutionize the way we live, if we don't come into internalizing ourselves to further realize that we need to stand up for the freedom. Okay, we need to come into understanding and knowledge of what is actually happening on the globe. Okay, so like I said, we are all at risk nowadays if we don't stand up for our freedom, if we don't come to revolutionize the way we live, and if we don't come to evolve, if we don't come into knowledge, if we fall into ignorance, we will literally be led into the slaughter, and they will literally take your soul. I thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Okay, subscribe over here to the left of me, drop a like to the video on the right of me, generate some static electricity from your ethereal body. It needs to be strengthened and realized for the collective rise in consciousness. Peace out once again. Okay, I love you guys. Have a great day.